They're having trouble with the sound.
Hey, hey. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. All right.
Hi, can you hear me? I can hear you. Yep. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Try this one.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to clip it on right there. She might have orange.
Oh, do I have a?
That might be what it is.
Which receiver do you have?
I don't know. Now can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We are live today at Roy W. Loudon Elementary School, home of the Leopards, and we're here to do the math!
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Susie. If you have any questions on your math today, you can call in Bakersfield 636-4357. If you're in San Luis Obispo or the areas around there, you can call toll-free 1-866-636-6284. You can also email us at dothemath@kern.org. You can watch online at dothemathonline.net. And you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, well, today is November 13th.
Yep.
And the reason I bring that up is because today, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 13th and 14th, we will have live programming, obviously, as you see us here right now. But next week, there will be no live programming due to the Thanksgiving holiday.
Right.
So there will be no live programming for Do the Math next week, what is it, 20th and 21st of November. So I'm sure reruns will be on, but there won't be any live programming that day. We have a very special guest in studio. We have our contest going on with the two schools over in San Luis Obispo County, and we'll get to all of that. But first, let's take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, so we did have a long holiday with Veterans Day, celebrated yesterday, but actually taking place on Sunday.
Right.
So did you have any major things you did? Anything different? Go out of town? Do anything different other than a normal weekend?
Well, I was cleaning my garage out because I'm having it remodeled into a recreation room.
Oh, very nice. There you go.
So I've been doing a little geometry there.
You got to get all that stuff out, right?
Right.
And then, so have you been wanting to do this for a while and it's
Yes.
just finally coming around and
Yep.
make a rec room out of that? Very nice. A lot of things that some people do. I know that a lot of people get their news electronically. There are still people, probably our age, that sometimes get a Sunday paper, you know, where they actually have the paper in their hand. And if they don't get the newspaper on a daily basis, they sometimes just get the Sunday paper.
Right.
And reason being, it's a little bit thicker, there's more information, a lot of stuff that you wouldn't get during the normal weekdays. And one of the advertisements, or one of the magazines in it, is the Parade magazine. And this is something that I found in there last weekend. And it's called Numberix. And there's a problem like this, similar, just about every week in the Sunday newspaper. So it says complete 1 to 81, so the numbers follow a horizontal or vertical path, no diagonals, meaning that the numbers have to touch each other in succession as you go around. So that's what was in the newspaper. And we'll just go ahead and put a larger one up here so it's a little easier to see. But you can see there's the 27 down at the bottom, there's the top row right there. So we can see that 73 is here and 75 is here, so 74 must be right there.
Right.
Okay. Now that means 74 is there. Now 76 must be here. So we know those two, but 73, this could be 72 or that could be 72.
Okay.
So that's kind of, you get the idea of the game? So, taking a look at this, all right? And I know I'm putting you on the spot right here.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So do you have an idea where, because we obviously have to start with 1, all right? Any idea kind of where you would like to start with the 1? I'll move it up a little so we can see that bottom row there. So obviously we're going to be relatively close to the 7.
Right.
So do you have an idea kind of like where you
I'm
think?
thinking over towards the 33. 7, 6, 5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2. Maybe not.
Maybe not that far over.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look at, so I went ahead and started doing this. So we can see that where the 7 is, we know that the 6 must be touching it. All right. And there were 2 different areas for it. So I put the 6 above it, which means directly to the right of it must be the 5. Okay. And if the 6 was above the 7, the 8 has to go next to the 7, which means if the 5 was above it, then there were a couple of options for the 4. But that's the way I started it. So we went 1, 2, and you can see how it's going. And I got up to 35 and figured, all right, we're done with this. But that way you get an idea.
Looks fun.
Yeah, and there are a lot of puzzles out there like that that are a little bit different, and you can just try your hand at them, see how you do, and things like that. Much like crossword puzzles for people that are
mathematically
Right,
inclined.
but
yeah.
the people that want to do numbers and things like that, these various games are always in the news, and that is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Just a reminder that next week, Thanksgiving week, there will be no live programming that week. We will be going out to Loudon Elementary in a little bit to visit Mary Lou and the Leopards of Loudon Elementary. We have our special guest. We're going to get with that young lady in just a moment. But first, you know what I noticed was on the Numberix paper, there was also an ad for Bed Bath & Beyond, 20% off.
I love that.
So I'd like you to do a percent problem right now.
Okay.
And this is actually one kind of like what your kids are working on in class right now. All right, so here we go. So head on over to the board and explain this as you would.
Okay.
What number is 25% of 180? So we want to know what 25% of 180 is.
Okay. So I do it two different ways, okay? So if you see this 25% or percent of a number, you can change the 25% to 0.25 and multiply and get your answer. Or if you use the percent proportion, you can do 25% and then we don't know what this is, but we know that it's out of 180. That's an N. Okay. So I could do it either way. I think this is usually faster. And I have 2 decimal places in my problem, so I have 2 decimal places in my answer. So 45 is 25% of 180. And that makes sense to me because 25% is 1/4. So half of 180 is 90, and then half of 90 is 45.
And while you've got the other way up there, just go ahead and solve that one also. And instead of doing the 180 times 25, kind of go into a little bit about simplifying beforehand to make the number a little bit more manageable.
Oh, okay. All right. So 25 hundredths is the same as 1/4. Okay, if I was to simplify this, I would, wow, 1/4. I'm having trouble over there. Okay, so now I can do my cross products as n times 4 equals 1 times 180. Okay, and then I divide by 4. And
Let me move the board down there for a
Okay.
little bit for you right there.
okay, 180 divided by 4 is 45.
All right, there you go. 2 different ways to solve it. You choose which way works best for you, and that way you'll have the correct answer. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Right now we're going to go live out to Loudon Elementary and visit with Mary Lou.
We are live today at Roy W. Loudon Elementary School, home of the Leopards, and I have a few friends here today to help us out solve some math problems. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Joshua and I'm in 4th grade. My name is Victoria and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Sophie. I'm 9. I'm in 4th grade and I love unicorns.
Hi, Melina. My name is Melina. I'm in 4th grade.
Okay, so all 4 of you guys have been working on what again in class?
Multiplying
4 digits.
by 1 digit.
Okay, so you guys are going to help us all out on different strategies on how to solve that, correct? Yes. Okay, so you guys ready for the problem?
Yes.
Okay, get your pens ready. Are you guys ready for the problem?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, you remember your job is to also solve the problem, okay? And you guys get to do any strategy you want. Here we go. Pins are ready? Here we go. So we have 5,732. Again, 5,732. 732 multiplied by 6. Multiplied by 6. Okay, remember, this group over here, you guys are using any strategy. Joshua, what strategy are you going to use?
Tape diagram.
Can you explain to me what you're going to do here, your thinking?
So I'm going to draw a tape diagram. And then this number, I'm going to draw the dots in the places it's in.
So place value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many lines do you need?
I need 4.
Just 4? Okay, yeah, because you have 4 numbers, right?
Yeah.
So what goes here?
The ones place.
The ones place?
No.
Or the
thousands.
thousands? Okay. So as you continue to work, we're going to come back and check on you, okay?
Okay.
And Victoria, right? What are you working on?
I'm working on an area model.
And what does that mean?
Well, it's basically instead of multiplying like diagonally or vertically, you just do an area. You just do squares, basically.
Okay, so what are you multiplying here?
6 times 5.
6 times 5. And then what are you going to do with those? Are you going to add those zeros to this
Yes.
at all? Okay. So make sure you don't forget that. Okay, let's move down. And Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Sophie, can you kind of explain what you're working on here?
I'm doing partial products.
And what does that mean?
Like whenever you multiply and like that equals 18. Like 6 times 3 equals 18. But since it's in the 10th place, you have to add a 0 at the end. And then whenever it's in the 100th place, you have to add 2 zeros.
Okay, so this is like saying 6 times, not just 3, but 6 times,
3 tens.
which is, how much is 3 tens?
180.
Okay, but it's 30, right? 3 tens is also 30? Yes? Now here you're saying 6 times what?
7 is 42, but in this case, it's 4,200.
So it's almost like saying 6 times 700, huh? Okay, so I see a plus sign, so you're going to be adding all of this up?
To find the answer.
Okay, to find the answer. Okay, let's go to our last person. And what have you done? Because I'm looking at all the work from everybody, and yours is really quick. What did you do?
I did standard algorithm. It's just taking the answer and just moving it. It's like addition, but it's with multiplication.
Okay, so let's go through this. You did what? Let's start here.
6 times 2,
Which was?
12. So
And
I moved the
Okay.
one over here.
And then
6 times 3,
carry the 1 plus the 1, which gave you
19.
carry the 1. So now you have 6 times,
7,
which was
42,
plus the 1 gave you.
3.
Okay.
6 times 5 is 30.
Plus the 4.
It's 34.
So you have 34,392. Let's go back. Let's check here with Sophie. Did you get the same answer, Sophie?
I got 34,392.
Okay, and you're close. You're still working, and you're still doing your dots. Did anybody over here use something different? Okay, how many of you got 34,000? What was it again? 34,392. Okay, let's see what you guys did. What did you do to get your answer?
Standard algorithm.
So you did a standard algorithm.
Standard algorithm.
Okay. I see you have the same answer. You also did standard algorithm? Yes? It looks like you guys preferred the standard algorithm. You did 2 different ones? Okay. So you did the tape measure here with the dots, and then you also did
The tape guide.
the model. All right. So obviously it doesn't matter what type of method you use. Are we still going to get to the same answer, everybody? Okay, explain. What's your name? Max, tell us what you did because you did something completely different.
I put 5,732 and wrote it
6 times.
So you just added this 6 times, right? Again, what's multiplication, everybody? Repeated addition. So obviously that method works. Okay, good job. So we have some more math we're going to be doing, but we're going to head back to the studio, and we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, thanks for that, Mary Lou, and the kids out at Loudon Elementary. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. Reminder, no live programming next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 20th and 21st, due to the Thanksgiving holiday. In studio with us right now, we have Ellie. How are you?
Good.
Why don't you let everybody know where you go to school and what grade you're in?
I go to Reagan Elementary and I'm in 6th grade.
Home of the Patriots, correct?
Yes.
How long have you been a Patriot?
I started this year.
So you started this year. So what do you like most about your new school?
It has a better academicness than my old school.
Okay.
That word.
So you like the work that you're doing a little bit better than you did at the other school. All right, well, that's always good that you enjoy doing the work that you're doing. Are you ready to do some work now?
I guess.
Okay, well, that's why you're here. Over to the board, young lady. So I'm going to give you a problem, and what you're going to do is you're going to evaluate the expression, okay? So you or Susie, it doesn't matter, can write it up on the board. Start over on the left, and then you guys can go down and over a little bit, all right? So we have 2m minus 9, and that is over 3.
Okay.
Okay, now m is equal to 6.
Just put that up there to remember, okay?
All right, so Ellie, how do you want to solve this problem? Go ahead and grab one of the markers and explain to us how you're doing it as you do it.
Okay, the first thing I do is I cross out the m and I put a 6 above it because that just helps me. And then I just solve the problem. So 2 times 6 is 12 minus 9 equals 3. And then 3 divided by 3 equals 1.
Excellent. Now, next to that problem, I'm going to give you a different one, all right? So if you want to, you can draw a line down the middle of the board there. Here we go. Y minus 2x all over, so put a fraction line, over x. Now, up above, if you want to, you can write what x and y are equal to. X is equal to 2. And y is equal to 8.
Okay, so as I did before, I cross out the letters and put the variables and put their little numbers above them. And then we just solve the problem. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then 8 minus 4 equals 4. And then x equals 2, so we have 2. And then 4 divided by 2 equals 2, so our answer is 2.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah.
All right, let me get rid of the page for you right there. Here we go. Negative 3 over 4. Next to that, the variable, pick a letter.
W.
All right, W, equals 9. So now solve for W.
Do you remember how to do that?
Nope.
So think about what you were doing with expressions to simplify them. And I know you've worked on equations, but I know you haven't worked with many equations with fractions in them. So that's why I wanted you to try this one now.
So if you had W divided by 4, you would get rid of the dividing by multiplying, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna write up here. So you would. And if you had negative 3 times W, you get rid of the multiplying by dividing. Now, do you see anything about that that looks?
It's just the same problem flipped around, but
Yes.
you keep the negative sign.
And then if you do something to one side,
Do it to the other.
right, so then we're gonna have times, and it really doesn't matter where the negative sign is. It can be out in front, on top, on the bottom, but what happens here?
You solve the improper fraction.
Okay,
But
well, it is sort of an improper fraction, but with the negatives, it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
really apply. But what happens when you're multiplying fractions and you have the same number in the numerator as you do in the denominator?
Oh, you do, what I do is cross cancellation, so you just cross that out and put ones. So the answer is 1. And then multiply across, which is 1 over 1.
Now what's 1 times 1 times W?
9?
Well, don't worry about this side yet. What's 1 times 2?
2.
What's 1 times 3?
3.
What's 1 times W?
1W? Or just W?
Just W, yeah, 1W. Okay. Now you can do this side. Do you know how to do 9 times -4/3?
Yes.
What would I do first?
First, I put the little 1 under
Yay.
the 9,
Good.
and then you flip
I'll let you
around.
finish it now. Oh, wait, now why are you going to flip it?
I don't know, that's what our teacher told us to do.
Only if you have a division problem.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You have multiplication, so you don't need to do that. Okay,
9,
good.
1, and that. -12 over 1 equals, oh wait, sorry. -12?
Right, that's excellent.
And what did you get, Ellie?
-12.
Very nicely done. All right. So go ahead and erase the board. And before you came on, Susie was working with percent problems. So now we're going to give you a percent problem. All right, so here we go. $3. So you can write down any information you think is necessary as we go. $3 is what percent? So $3 is what percent of $40?
First, what I do is I change it into a decimal, because, wait, okay, yeah, sorry, change it into a decimal, I think, 0.300.
You would do that if you were changing, okay, when you, like here, if you have 0.03 and you're changing it to a percent, you would do this.
Oh yeah, so it's...
But you already have a decimal. See, $3 is a decimal. So have you ever done the percent proportion?
I have done it where I find 30% of this, but I haven't done it where it's like find.
Okay, well the most important thing is the percent part. Okay, if it said 5%, you'd write 5/100ths. If it said 10%, you'd write 10/100ths. Since it says what percent, you write P over 100, because we don't know what it is. Okay? I'm going to write this up here. Okay, so P over 100. Okay, and then we have something out of something. Do you think it's $3 out of $40 or $40 out of $3?
$3 out of 40?
Right. Do you know how to solve that kind of a problem?
I think so, yes.
Okay, let's take this off so you have room. Whoop. I'm not very good at this. I'll just let you work around it.
I'll just use the red one.
Do you do cross products or cross multiplying?
Well, you can't really in this one because you just can't.
You can.
Well, what I do is just cross out the zeros in that.
Okay, that works.
And then 4 out of 10, or sorry, that is 4 equals 10, so that would be 2/5. I don't really know what I'm
I
saying.
think you're meaning to say 2.5.
Yes, that
Okay.
is what I'm trying, but
Okay.
failing to say.
All right, but it's 4 times 2.5 is 10. So here, yeah, I'll help you out here.
I have no idea what to do with that.
Okay, so 4 times 2.5 equals 10. So then what do you do up there?
And then times 2.5.
And what's 3 times 2.5?
You can work it out
7.5.
instead of doing it in your head if you need to.
Yeah, you can
write it down.
You got it, 7.5. Okay. Now, let me just show you that you can do the cross products. Okay? Okay, see, I have 3 times 100 equals P times 40. Okay, and and then you divide both sides by 40. And then 3 times, you can do this here, you can do that again. 3 times 10 is 30, and 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So you get the same thing. So have you done cross products before? It's kind of new in 6th and 7th, I think. So.
Not really.
Okay.
Well, there you go. First time for everything. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. We'll go back out to Loudon in a little bit. We'll do some more work with Ellie, and we'll do it all right after this. Today we're at Midway School, home of the mighty Midway Tigers, and we're here to... All right, last time the students at Midway School were working on positive and negative numbers, and they all came up with the answer of 0, which was nice. Nobody had some other weird answer or anything like that, so they all were in consensus with that. Here's one way if you have a long string of numbers and you sometimes get confused. One thing you can do is if you have a long string of numbers, categorize them into positive and negative numbers. So the 5, is that a positive or a negative number?
Positive.
Positive, so we'll put it right here, okay? The 3, is it positive or negative?
Negative.
So we're going to put it over here. The 8, negative or positive?
Positive.
Negative.
It's a negative, right? Because there's a negative symbol in front of it, so it's a negative 8. The 6, positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So now all we have to do is add up each of the columns. What's 5 and 6? 11. Okay. What's 8 and 3? 11. So this says there are 11 positives and 11 negatives. When you combine them to find the difference, what is it? 0. Right? Now check this out. Let's say we had we're going to leave that positive and we're going to put a negative, what do you want to put? Negative what? 7. All right? So let's say this was our problem. All right? All we would do is take that negative 7 and add it to this, because it's a negative. This now is 18. This is 11. What's the difference between 18 and 11? 7. And since this 18 was larger, was it negative or positive? Negative. So the answer to this whole thing would be negative 7. So sometimes, because there are students that see this long list of numbers and they're getting all mixed up and they can't remember, do I add here, do I subtract, how many do I do? This is one way that might help you out with keeping it a little bit organized also. You guys like that way? All right. So now I've got a little activity for you, and we're going to have a little contest to see who can do this the quickest. All right? Competition's always fun. So all you're going to do is add and subtract. Okay? No multiply or divide here. You're just going to add and subtract. So on that page, you can see there are positive and negative numbers. Okay? So this, each of you just take a couple out of there, like a little handful. All right, so each of you grab a little handful of markers right there. And you're going to get 2 dice for you to play. So what we'll do is, instead of all 4 of you using the same one, we'll go ahead and split you guys into pairs. All right? So maybe you 2 girls will do the activity together, you 2, and then you 2 right here can work together, and then you 2. So here's the way you do it. When it's your turn, you're going to take the dice. You're going to roll them. You may either add or subtract. Okay? So if I had a 1 and a 2, I could get 3. Right? So you would put your marker on a positive 3. Okay? But what else could I do if I had a 1 and a 2? I could subtract. I could go 2 minus 1 and get a 1. What else could I do? 1 minus 2 to get a negative 1, because you see there are negative numbers on there, right? So what you want to do is you want to roll the dice, place your markers. The first person to get 3 in a row any way, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, will win. You guys all got it? All right, let the games begin. So there's different ways you guys can do it. So when you roll, you both could use these numbers, but if you do, and you put it on the same number all the time, you'll both get the same answers. So you can roll your own. So you get the 1 and the 3.
8 is right there, so if we get a 7, I subtract.
So that'll work if you guys are doing different. Otherwise, what you can do is like you roll it now, and only you can use those numbers. And then he'll roll it. Well, you guys did the same rolls every time?
Huh?
Did you one person roll and you both use the numbers? All right, so here's what I want you to do this time. If you roll, only you can use these numbers. And then when you roll, only you can use those numbers. That way you won't be coming up with the same thing all the time. Got it? Okay, keep on going. All right, did you girls use the same dice each time? Like when you rolled, did both of you use the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to roll, but when you roll, only you use the numbers. All right, because otherwise you're going to keep coming up with the same answers all the time. All right, so you had a tie, right? You got 3 in a row, obviously. So now clear the board and then start again. But when you roll, only you may use those numbers. All right? And that, just a little bit on positive and negative numbers working with integers with the 5th and 6th grade students at Midway School. All right, a big thanks to the staff and students out at Midway School. We certainly did have a wonderful time out there. We have Ellie in studio with us. We're going to have her do some more percent problems in a little bit. But right now, we're going to go out to the home of the Leopards and visit with Mary Lou at Loudon Elementary.
We are back live at Loudon Elementary today, and I am with Safari. Hello, Safari.
Hi, my name is Safari and I'm in the 4th grade and I'm going to be showing you how to round to the thousands.
Okay, so hold on, Safari. You have to tell everybody, what is your favorite thing about being a student at Loudon?
My favorite thing about being a student at Loudon is doing math.
Yay. Okay, and we got math. Now, you talked about we're rounding today, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we rounding to tens? Are we rounding to hundreds? Are we rounding to thousands? What are we rounding to? Thousands. Okay, so here's our problem right here. 2,792. Can you help everybody how we can round this to thousands? So what are you making first?
A number.
Okay. And what's at the bottom there?
2,000.
And the top is?
3,000.
Can you tell us why you're putting 3,000 up here?
I'm putting 3,000 because 2,000,
It's our base? Okay.
And then you add that.
Well,
That 1,000.
right, we're going by thousands, right? So either we round it down or we round it.
We round it up.
So what's going at this mark right here? Is that our halfway point? What's halfway between 2,000 and 3,000? Is it, what's half?
Half.
2,000.
5.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. So now you have your base, right? And you have your max, and this is halfway. So what are you doing now?
I'm putting the
Our
number that I have round to, and going to put it to the area
where you think it falls on the number line? Okay. So by using this information, Safari, can you now guess where this is going to round to?
This is going to round to 3,000.
Because it is what? Is it? It's closer to what?
3,000.
Okay, so our number rounds to 3,000. Okay, so is everybody ready to round a number? Yes? Okay, here we go. All right, Safari. You're going to go around and check and make sure everybody has this rounded correctly, okay? So we have 9,000. Okay, you guys ready? 9,399. Rounded to the nearest 1,000. Okay, Safari, you got to help me, okay? And what I need you to do is go around and you're going to make sure. Do you have your answer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you think? Okay, you got it. She's got it. Okay, all right, let's go around and check real quick, okay? If you think you have the answer, raise your hand. I see a lot of number lines. Good job. Where do you think? Safari, do you think, you think he has it? Here's his answer. Does he have it? Yes? All right. Thumbs up. Good job. Here's another one. Check that one, Safari. What is it? Yes? Okay. All right. So, Safari, what's our answer? Because I know a couple of us already have it. What's our answer again?
Our answer is 9,000.
Thank you. Now, I have a challenge for you guys. Can you give me, and I want you to do this with your groups, can you give me two numbers? Two other numbers that would round to 9,000. Go. Write it on your papers. I want two. And Safari, I want you to write two numbers for me up on the board. Any two numbers that would round to 9,000.
9,239.
Write it on your paper. Safari, you tell us what two numbers you think can round it to 9,000.
And
We'll do 9,148.
Okay, but it has to round to 9,000. We're looking for numbers that round to 9,000. Yep. Two numbers.
8,000.
she has to do it in a group.
8,000 what?
Like two. We're supposed to focus on this.
Okay, why Safari's thinking? Who has two numbers? Share. What are your two numbers? Tell us what they are.
My two numbers are 9,239. That's my first number. And my second number is 9,148.
Okay, two numbers.
8,000 and 9,000.
Just 8,000? Does that round to 9,000? If you think about it, keep thinking.
9,001, 9,002.
Okay, last one right there.
9,052 and 9,060.
Okay, Safari, give us the very last one because you had an 8,000. Give us your 8,000 one. Which one was it?
I have 8,499.
Okay. All right. Think about that one some more. All right. So again, using a number line can help you round to the nearest thousands or the tens or the hundreds. And we're going to have more when we come back. So we're going to send it back to the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Mary Lou. In studio, we have Ellie, a sixth grade student from Reagan Elementary, working on some percent problems. And it seemed as though that last percent problem kind of threw you off a little bit. So let's do one more. All right, so over to the board, ladies. What percent of 60? So what percent of 60 is 12?
Okay. So first we write 12 is what percent of 60, so you write 60 there because I don't know. And then you do P over 60?
No. Let's try again. Okay. So,
Sorry.
I always tell my students to do the percent part first. Okay, because then it puts everything in the right place. So what percent, if it said 10%, we'd put 10 over 100.
Oh,
but it
okay.
says what percent, so you put P over 100. Okay, and then you have to get those other two numbers in the right place.
12 over 60?
Right. And let me give you a hint. So if it's more than 100%, the larger number will go on top. So you do have to be careful. But there's another hint. The word is usually by the numerator, and the word of is usually by the denominator. Okay? And then have you done, so we want to try cross products again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one's pretty simple. It's just 3.
Oh, no, no, no. Okay, sorry. You can't, you can multiply a cross, but you can't cancel across an equal sign. So I'm going to get,
yeah, okay.
So I'm going to get you started. 12 times 100.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, equals 60 times p. Now I think you have an equation that you know how to solve.
Yes, 1200
Good,
equals 60p,
good.
or 60 times p, sorry.
That's
And
the same
then
thing.
you do 1200 divided by 60, which is 20, I believe. Yeah, 20.
Okay,
So that means p equals 20, and p equals percent, so the 20%, I think.
okay, yeah. And then when you're solving equations, do you ever, whoops. Let me just show you something. Like if you had 1200 equals 60p, do you ever solve multiplying by dividing like that?
Not really.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Okay. And then 120 divided by 6 is 20. So that's right. Okay. So you did it. You got it.
And then we'll just put the percent symbol on the other side of the 20,
Yeah, sorry.
right? So it's 20%, not percent 20.
Okay.
There we go. All right. One more percent problem for you girls.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. So Aaron and Mackenzie scored 48% of their team's points.
Okay.
If the team had a total of 50 points, how many points did Aaron and Mackenzie score?
Okay. So you would do 48% of 50
That's good.
is how many points they scored, I think. Yes. And then, so you go P.
Well, see, this time you do have the, the
Oh, yeah, sorry.
percent. So you're going to write 48 over 100.
Yeah,
There's
sorry.
two ways, at least two ways to do this one, but this will work. 48 out of 100.
100 and then 50 over 1.
Well, okay. 48% of 50.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so, and then,
So 50 is your total. So that's your missing number right there.
okay.
So you can call it N for number.
Okay.
Okay?
And then what I do is 50 goes into 100 twice. So 100 divided by 50 equals 2. And then 48 divided by, 100 divided by 2
It's
equals 50. And then 48 divided by 2 is 24.
Yep, that works.
So 24.
That's very good. So 24% or 24 points.
Point. Okay,
Very
that
good, points.
looks
Yeah,
random, but
okay.
yeah.
That's correct.
All right, so you're doing a lot of mental math there,
She is.
which is fine. All right. So we're going to give you a break on the percents right now, and you are familiar with fractions.
Yes.
You know how to add and subtract them, and how about multiply and divide? Good. So you're comfortable with all that I give you now. All right. Here we go. 3/5 times 1/4.
You can't really cross cancel on this one, so you just multiply across.
And what I want you to do is I want you to explain this thoroughly, because there are some students in 4th and 5th grade that will be looking at these fractions for the first time, not quite understanding how to do them.
Okay.
So instead of doing the mental math, which I know you're very good at, explain step by step what you're doing. Okay?
So first, obviously, I write the problem, and then I do something called cross canceling, where if let's say you made 1/5 a fraction, this doesn't really, don't use 1/5 as a fraction, but like if you made 1/5 and 3/4 as a fraction, you would try to simplify those. And the way you simplify is like if the numerator can go into the denominator, or like a certain number can go into the numerator that can also go into the denominator, then however many times that number went into both of those things, it would be what you would write instead. So say it was like,
Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay.
okay, see here. We cross that, so we go 5 over 5 and 3 over 4. And as you can see here, 5 and 5 are the same thing. So 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 5 once. So you cross those out and just make them 1. And then in this case, you actually do use this fraction because it's just 3 times 1, which is 3, and then 1 times 4, which is 4.
Okay. So, and before you were saying that there's no canceling that can be done in this one.
Yes, not
Okay.
to my knowledge.
Nope, there isn't. Okay. So, I'm having a hard time. But let's not forget the equal sign.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And then you just multiply across. So 3 times 1 equals 3, and then 5 times 4 equals, 20. If you can see what that squiggly line means.
All right, good. So before we move on to division, let's go ahead and clear that board. And Ellie, I want you to come up with the first fraction. So you write a fraction up on the board.
Okay. 7 ninths.
All right, so now you're going to put times 36 over 49. And go ahead and solve that.
Okay, and then as usual, cross cancel. And 36 over 9. The number that they have in common, the largest number that they have in common is 9. And 9 goes into that once, and 9 goes into 36 4 times. So you change the 9 here to a 1, and the 36 here to a 4. And the next fraction that you can cross cancel is 7 49ths. And 7 goes into both of these numbers, for 7 once, and for 49 7 times. So you change the 49 to a 7, and the 7 to a 1, and then multiply across. 1 times 4, and then 1 times 7 equals 4 sevenths.
Very good.
There you go. Nicely done. Well explained also. All right, so now we're done with the multiplication. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and divide right now. 1/3 divided by 5/6.
So what you do with division is a little bit like multiplication, but a little bit different. What you do with this second number, and not the first, I've made that mistake many times, but you do with only the second number is you flip it around. So it would be 1/3 times 6 over 5. And you change the division sign to a multiplication sign.
Good.
What my old teacher would say was keep, change, flip. So yeah, you just do that. And then you cross cancel for 6 over 3. 3 goes into 6 twice and into 3 once. And 1 and 5 are as simplified as they can be, so we keep that. So we just change the 3 to a 1 and the 6 to a 2. And then 1 times 2 equals 2. And then 1 times 5 equals 5.
Okay.
All right, now let's try this. All right, so go ahead and get rid of that. So we're going to alter it a little bit. So 1/3 divided by 6/5.
Oh.
Oh,
So
there you go.
this one, what you do is, switch that. So, and also switch the sign 5/6. So that that changes the entire problem. Not just stays the same answer.
Very good.
I've definitely made that mistake before. And then since you can't really cross cancel with this, they're as simplified as they can be, because look, 5/3, no common multiple, and then 1/6 as simplified as it can be. So you just multiply. 3 times 6 equals 18, and then 1 times 5 equals 5. So,
There you go.
ta-da!
There you go, 5 over 18. So,
Sorry.
I want you to come up with a problem. So, how are you with mixed numbers? You good?
Yeah.
All right, so get rid of that. 2 1/4. You multiply it by any number you want, or a fraction.
Okay, I'll just do 12 15ths. I know that can be simplified, so I'll simplify that. Okay. But what you do with the mixed number is you turn it into an improper fraction. And this is what my 4th grade teacher called around the block. So you multiply 2 by 4, which is 8, and then you add, and then you add 1. So 8 plus 1 equals 9. And then you keep this denominator and put it under your new numerator.
Okay. I'm going to write the problem up here.
Sorry.
No, you're doing fine. I'm just putting what's left after you do all that really good explaining. Okay.
And then you take the 12 15th, you can simplify that with 3. It's not always the 12 can go into the 15th. It can just be like whatever number can go into both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So your problem is now 9/4 times 4/5, and then you change the 4/4 to 1, 1, and then 9/5 is already simplified. So you just go 1, 1, and then 9/5. Oh, and then you change that to an improper. That is an improper fraction, so you have to change that to a multiplication. Sorry. Or, oh my gosh, mixed number. I'm so sorry. But then you say how many times can the denominator go into the numerator without going over? So that is 1. So that is your whole number. And then whatever's left over, you make the numerator, numerator, and you keep 5 as your denominator. So your answer would be 1 4/5.
Okay, and let's put equal signs between these.
I'm sorry.
No, just so we don't want to, the people who are watching may not be able to see what you're doing. In your
There you go. Nicely done, Ellie. Well done on all of that, and even adding that number that you did in there with the 12 over 15, everything came out nice and simple like that. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and right now we have available another student at Loudon Elementary. We'll head out with Mary Lou.
We are back live at Loudon Elementary School, and we have been doing a lot of math today, yes? Yes, we have been doing a lot of math today. We started off with multiplication, right? Then we went to rounding. Why do you think rounding is important?
Because it's just making, just so you want to be the exact number. It's just like, it's somewhere around 3,000.
So you could use it for estimation. Okay, so now we're working on what?
Division.
Yes, division. Okay, quickly tell everybody, tell them your name.
Milena.
I know that we've already seen you once before, right, today? Milena, what is your favorite thing about Loudon? Yes. All right, let's go ahead and do this. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, so here's our first problem. I'm going to put it up here. We have 756, and we're going to divide that by 4. So the first method, we're going to kind of do a place value chart, right?
Yes.
Okay, so lead us through that.
So you're going to draw a box. And you're going to divide it how many
digits we have?
Hundreds, tens, and ones.
Okay.
So it's 3 boxes. So we're going to put the numbers in 756.
And then outside is? 4. So that's our divisor. So this is our dividend. Our first number is called our dividend, and our second number is called our divisor. Okay, what are we doing next?
So we're going to put 4 into 7, but we can't do that, but you will get...
Well, 4 goes into 7 how many times?
1.
Right, okay.
So we'll put 1 here, and 4 times 1 is 4, so we'll subtract that, and we get 3. We'll carry the 3 over here, put it there. So 4 into 35 is 28, and then this is 32.
Okay, so 4 times what is 32?
Is 8.
Okay.
So we'll put 8 here. 8 times 4 equals 32. We'll subtract that, we get 3. So we'll carry the 3 over here, and then we'll do, so
If this is 4 multiplied by 8 is 32, 4 times what is 36?
9.
Okay.
So we'll put 9 up here, and 36, and you get 0.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to check with multiplication. How can we check with multiplication to make sure we got it correct?
So we could do 189 times 4.
And you did standard algorithm for us, right, last time? Do standard algorithm again.
Okay, so we'll do it. 9 times 4 is 36. Put the 6 there, put the 3. That's 32 plus 3, that's 35. So put the 5 there and put the 3. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7.
And did we end up with 756? Yes. Double checking. You know, I find this very interesting. I've never seen anyone put their numbers here when you're kind of regrouping, which I love that. Okay, you're carrying your number over. I love that. That's a really cool idea. It also helps you remember to add that.
Yeah.
Okay, this was great. So you did multiplication, we did rounding, and we did division. Yes? Everybody, full day of math? Yes, full hour of math.
Yes.
I want to thank you all. You guys have been absolutely wonderful today. I hope you guys learned a little something, especially with division. I know that you have not seen this before, and you guys did a great job with that, especially you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to everybody here at Loudon. And that's it from Loudon, and we're going to send it back to the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Mary Lou. Well, Ellie is in studio with us right now, and we want to say thank you to Ellie. One of the things she'll be receiving today is a couple of tickets to the Bakersfield Condors, so congratulations on that. Have you ever been to the Condors game? Well, you've got an opportunity now. And one more thing I need you to do. The students out at Loudon have been working, and their names are in here, and I need you to draw out one of the names. They're going to a CSUB event, all right? So go ahead and pull one out, and you can read that name if you can.
Sophie, 4th grade, Loudon.
There you go. So Sophie, a 4th grade student at Loudon Elementary, congratulations. You'll be going to an athletic event of your choice at CSUB. So congratulations on that. Hey, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.